made it. We are at the halfway point of Warrior Nun Season 2. Can you guys believe we are at the halfway point?
I didn't think we'd ever get here at all.
No. For all those who aren't behind the scenes of this podcast, this is our third attempt to try and film this episode. So it's been...
Is it really?
Yes. It has been a journey to get here. We've been climbing up that hill and falling down, mostly. But we made it to the top
originally I wasn't in this episode.
This was supposed to take place weeks ago. So here we are. But serendipity has happened, and there's been some fun stuff going on in the fandom recently, thanks to Simon challenging everybody, and also some highly creative article writers who have given us the character Rebecca we will never ever forget.
Thank you, Rihanna de Bono Smith.
Yes, if that is your real name, because if you haven't read the News Daily article that's been circulating like wildfire,
Daily,
whatever, please go find it. It's incredible.
And then go read the top 6 ways to show your cute micro pig that you love them.
Yes, but back to Warrior Nun. So what were your favorite part of this article? It's hard to pick one, honestly.
That Beatrice is just Jillian. Well, Jillian's a nun.
Jillian's a kick-ass feminist nun, which I love, and that would be better than the real Jillian we got, personally.
Oh, no, I love that Adriel is played by Toya Turner.
That is amazing.
That is amazing.
Toya wasn't even in this season.
Yeah.
And what about Adriel's romance with Anna, the other angel?
Yeah, I didn't read that because I didn't actually like focus on the article because I think it was like late at night. I don't remember Anna.
I love that they misgendered Shannon.
Oh, I love Shannon himself, but I've appreciated all of these things.
But also I love that Shannon is just like this huge character now.
Yeah.
And apparently Ava has many girlfriends in this season, according to this article.
Yep.
And Beatrice is bisexual.
Beatrice is a bisexual that we find out early on. But Beatrice is played by the actor that plays Vincent on the show. Oh, that's Rebecca. Is that Rebecca?
No, yeah, that's
Rebecca.
Beatrice, played by Christina Tonteri Young, identifies as bisexual, which is revealed in an early episode when she admits her feelings for Ava.
Isn't it like wait, she admits her feelings for Ava? Wasn't it like episode 6 or 7?
7.
Yeah, not early on.
Due to the fact it portrays bisexuality in a respectful manner that focuses on love rather than stereotypes. Oh, man.
Oh, Jillian has inspiring speeches?
Yeah, she does.
Sure.
About feminism. So yeah, if you haven't checked out this article, it's a dumpster fire in the best possible way.
No, my absolute favorite part, I have to amend myself, is Adriel's unwavering loyalty towards Ava.
It's the whole point of the show.
I love it.
Whether it be through gentle scenes between Adriel and Ava or empowering speeches given by Sister Beatrice. Okay, so why is the empowering speeches now by Beatrice, but it was by Jillian?
Because everybody is anybody, according to this article.
I love it. I think this article morphs over time.
No, I think they changed stuff in this article.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because originally they had Jillian was played by Christina.
Yeah.
And was giving empowering speeches.
Right,
they have edited this article since it dropped, and it's still not correct.
Which is the point, we think.
Mm-hmm. We sure hope. All right, any last words about this article?
But Adriel was sent to guide Ava in her mission?
He was.
Yes.
According to this article.
Sure.
But, and then the other thing that happened that was of note is Simon's Avatrice bed scene challenge. So if anyone's not aware of this, which I hope you are, Simon gave everybody on Twitter a challenge to get to 10 million tweets, and he would release this deleted scene, and then it morphed into him reading it with Christina. So if you haven't heard of this, please join the fight, because
we need it.
We would like that. We want
also, just go talk to Theora. Theora's behind all the hit tweets that we have right now.
I'm dedicated to getting this bed scene script. We will read it on the podcast too if we get it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Just, our Twitter was dead, and then all of a sudden, I just had 50 notifications. And I'm like, what is happening? And then I was like, oh, Theora.
We were challenged. So if you were a part of that and doing all those things, a big thank you to everybody. This fandom has been incredible. There's billboards that are up in LA, and there was one in Times Square recently. It's just the dedication, the fire. It's been amazing. You guys are absolutely incredible. So thank you all for just all your continued efforts and how much fun it's been just like interacting with you guys and playing, especially for this bed scene challenge, because it's been super fun. So thank you guys. You guys are all incredible. Keep it up.
Absolutely. Are you okay, Kaitlynn?
Kaitlyn's not okay.
I missed the opening completely.
Oh my god. Kaitlynn has a drinking problem.
Apparently.
Discovered.
Not the normal kind either.
All right. I think that's a great segue into the beginning of this episode, which is the aftermath of the heist gone wrong. Well, it's more of an abducting than a heist.
Beatrice is pissed.
I called it the opening of upset.
Yeah, upset is probably not even the right term for Beatrice. There's just like the alarms are blaring, it's loud, and she's just freaking the fuck out at Camilla, who happens to be next to her. And she basically, like, Camilla's trying to, like, plan what they're going to do, but Beatrice is just like, whose fault is it that we're in this situation? So she just starts, like, blaming Camilla. And really, I think this is just Beatrice mad at herself and is just projecting onto Camilla, because Camilla is a person who's talking to her right now. Because, like, her big thing in the prior episode was trying to control every single thing that happened so the heist would go right. And for Beatrice, that means Ava gets out alive, untouched, and that failed spectacularly. So she's lost all control. So she's, like, in a position where she's freaking out and is going to have to, like, redeem herself, which is, like, her whole episode, this episode. So poor Camilla, she's just, like, there.
Beatrice is so upset with her about, like, leaving her post and all. And Camilla's like, I got distracted. I thought I heard someone. But if she hears someone, isn't she supposed to?
Yeah, like,
make sure that, like, it makes no sense. Like, girl, you didn't get distracted. You were doing your job.
I also, why can't Camilla just be like, I saw Adriel? Like, I feel like that would change Beatrice's anger immediately if she's like, hey, I thought I saw the big bad guy here. And you're right. She's a guard. She's supposed to, like, protect them against that.
She's supposed to keep people out and not leave that area. I don't know. But whatever.
But if there's more than one entrance.
I'm
guessing she's not saying that to Beatrice because she's afraid it's all in her head.
I mean, yeah.
Because of the chip that she's got back there. So it's like, she doesn't know if this is like, if she's going crazy or if it's a real thing in the world.
We're all going crazy.
Beatrice already got pissed at her, or is already, like, she already feels like Beatrice is looking at her.
Yeah, that's true. And then I think on some level, Camilla understands, like, what is actually going on with Beatrice and why Beatrice is freaking the fuck out right now. So, but
she's the only one that knows.
Yeah, she's the only one that knows. But either way, Beatrice isn't having any of this anymore, and she just, like, storms out of there. And meanwhile, in the alley, the not hot priest is abducting Ava, and they're both unharmed because, of course, they are. Because that man, nothing bad happens to him ever, and it's really annoying.
It is so annoying.
It's so annoying. I can't stand characters like this. And then, meanwhile, Mother Superior and Yasmin make it out together, and they're getting to their getaway van, and Mother Superior's like, listen, I have to do tactical nun stuff, so you're gonna have to drive us out of here. And then Yaz takes the wheel and starts screaming as she drives away, and it's probably one of the best scenes in this episode.
No, you missed the best part. but I don't want to. It's like, I don't want you either.
Listen,
Oh
there's a
no,
heist
the
release.
best part
Every
is
time
when
I
she
hear
goes, tells her to go, but it's like she's yelling, go! And then she's takes off.
And Yaz meets her yell with another yell.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were some amazing comic relief this episode.
I love Yasmin. Mina killed it.
She kills it. I love characters like this because they're just real. Like, what a real reaction to this whole scenario. It was like, I wasn't supposed to be a part of any of this. I still don't want to be here, but she's such a team player. She's like, I'm going to do it anyway, even though I'm freaking the fuck out right now, and I'm not afraid to freak out, but I'm going to get it done. And so, she's so real. I love it. All right. And then unfortunately we have to go back to the priest and Ava because plot reasons. I know. It's just the next part. And so there's this little quick shot of just like him again. Ava's like passed out with the crown on her head and he's like walking away with her and like she's bleeding. So it shows that like the crown can harm Ava, not just like suppress her powers, which is interesting. And while he's walking away with her, she ends up in this dream sequence, which is triggered by the crown, I guess. And she's like laying on a table in total darkness and gets up to this like blinding light and is like, what is happening? And then Taras demons show up and she's like, ah, fuck, and gets ready to fight them, but then like wakes up to the priest who's taking the crown off her head. So that's fun and shows up again later. Mm-hmm. And then the priest feeds her some bullshit about like, hey, I'm not the bad guy. I'm doing this for good. And she's like, yeah, whatever, bitch. And tries to fight him. But after like, I guess the crown doesn't only, it suppresses the power of the halo, I guess, which for Ava means like it makes her paralyzed again. Because without the halo's power, she'd A, be dead. And B, like if she wasn't dead, she's paralyzed. That's like her baseline. So once the crown comes off of her, it takes her time to like get her ability to function back because that's what the halo provides her. So she's just like floundering, trying to fight him.
I enjoyed the line when I can. I enjoyed the line when I can use my legs again. I'll kick your ass.
She sure will. That's what those legs are for. Kicking ass, taking names. And the priest tells her basically like, listen, I get that you want to fight me and everybody, and that's great, but maybe put off your final fight with Adriel as long as you can because you're going to die doing it. So I'll pray for you. And then he leaves with the crown. And gross. And then as he's leaving, who comes out of nowhere to attack him but Miguel because he's a creeper.
I'm following Ava.
He's always following Ava. Go on.
I think it's just something about his face.
He just has a punchable face.
I'm sorry.
I wonder if you'd feel that way if you met the actor.
Oh no, I'm sure I wouldn't. No, we meet these people. They're the best human beings ever. Just something about him and like the way that they have him deliver his lines and stuff. Mm-hmm. He just seems like such a douchebag. Like he is like, I'm going to protect you, and like, dude, you keep trying to get Ava not to do things and go places, and you gotta learn. Like, I feel like Beatrice even knows at this point that she's just gonna do whatever she wants. So, like,
that is true.
Speaking of Beatrice.
Spider-Man.
She like wire jumps down off of a
silently.
I read this like a few minutes ago and I almost started cracking up. I just wrote Beatrice is a little spider.
Yeah,
and
just literally,
just like randomly,
and then crawls up the next building behind a guard because there's just a dude standing there, or cop, whatever.
You can fully tell that she's on a wire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously. But anyway, she's doing that while Camilla is distracting this guard too, and then her distraction is also hilarious because she plays into the I'm a little woman, like I'm not threatening. I'm dressed like a nun, kind of. Like, let me get
Ninja
close
nun.
to you. Yeah, and then she like steals his gun and punches him, and she's like, yeah, I'm sure you're great, or whatever.
Yeah, sorry, I'm sure you're great, but
I love her.
yes.
She's like, whoops, whatever. So basically they're like making their way downtown.
Walking past faces past.
No, flying fast.
Spider-Manning.
Climbing
downtown.
fast.
Yeah, so they're doing that, making their way downtown. And meanwhile, we go back to Miguel and the priest, who are brawling as men do,
Being
and
dudes.
they're literally just being dudes. And the point of this
Straight
is
dudes.
they're being cishet dudes, and Miguel is doing this so he could jack the crown from the priest, which he does, and then he calls himself God's vengeance while he's doing this, and I'm like, what is this line? It's so weird. It just goes back to what Kaitlynn was ranting about.
He's got this touch of arrogance that's just
it's weird.
Infuriating.
It's like, dude, I want to know what happened to him in those 6.74 days that he was on the other side.
Just that toss hair flip back. Was so like, that was amazing, Kaitlynn. Anytime you make a point, do that. I just need to know. Yeah, anyway, that was amazing. But yeah, no, I agree.
It was just me for my math.
Hey, but we never know. Miguel, sorry. Miguel
spoiler
Michael.
Bree, jeez.
No, sorry, Michael. Could be not straight. Who knows? Or
that's true. We didn't mean to call you a cis het man. We don't really know what your deal is.
Yeah,
but
no, that is fair.
That's fair. But we also do not know what happened to you in that other realm to give you this weird arrogance. I feel like it's Rhea's influence, maybe, but it's very weird.
It has to be Rhea.
It's so weird. God's vengeance.
I don't understand, because he was so sheltered. But he doesn't remember being Michael?
No, he definitely does.
He definitely does.
So he remembers Ava.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that he remembers what she looked like and stuff.
Like, she wasn't around him long enough.
Yeah, not long enough. But he remembers his childhood and, like, literally just being trapped in the bubble, because he had a conversation later with Jillian.
I have to say, it was a pretty cool bubble. Like, there was little clouds and everything.
Yeah, but that was his whole world, was that one bubble. Like, and he never left. And so, yeah, he has the conversation not with Jillian, with Ava in this episode later, where he's like, I was having fun because my life before that I went to the other side wasn't fun. Like, he was trapped like Ava was in a room. So, like, that's their commonality. But yeah, I just found this line very, very weird, because he also says in this episode, and he's fully aware that these gods and angels aren't real. It's just terms we use for people from this other realm. So, like, that line struck me as really weird, because he knows the truth of all of this. And so why would you say that?
I wonder if he's just using it for, using it because he is not hot priest as a priest. And that's the whole thing the wheelhouse that he works in. Who knows?
But he also knows that the priest is working for Adriel, so, like, I don't know. Maybe it seems like a very weird line. But anyway, then they run away.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
Would you consider Ava arrogant in the first season?
Yes.
Okay, so what's with the people not getting out at all? Like, is arrogance like your innate like trait in you, because they were both stuck in a room?
I don't call it arrogance. I call it not knowing any better.
I think Ava was just selfish, mostly.
Ava was selfish. I don't think she was arrogant. Because if you think, like, her entire world was in her head. So, and just like Miguel, his entire world was pretty much in his head. So, that's all they could think about was themselves.
To be fair, Michael was, I don't know.
He was also a child who literally knew nothing else.
And who knows what Rhea is
communicating with Adriel.
Yeah, that's true. That probably fucked him up. But also you have to remember that Ava did have a life before she was paralyzed. So, like, she had a childhood before she was 8 years old and paralyzed, of an actual childhood. Whereas, like, Michael, his whole childhood was trapped in that room, and he had creepy angels in his brain. So
I wish we knew more about more about his her childhood before.
Yeah, me too.
Who knows?
It's like,
Maybe her mother was an
We're
asshole.
lucky I remember that she was paralyzed, okay? We've already established that I don't know what happened in the first season. I still
That's
think
fine.
that everybody's a warrior nun.
Okay. Well,
It's
we'll
okay.
just move on from there.
Yeah, so after Miguel and Ava piece out of there with the crown, leaving that bitch-ass priest on the ground, we unfortunately have to go to Lilith and Adriel.
Oh, God.
Why?
My main
That's a
note
great
is,
question.
nope, this is not where Lilith should be.
Yeah, we're here because Lilith has exhausted all of her resources for figuring out what on earth is happening, or not on earth, what is happening to her with all these new scales and her powers, and like what the fuck, why does nobody want her in the other realm? Basically, she has no like support system. Her mom doesn't want her. The OCS basically abandoned her. Mary's gone, so she's like, listen, I need answers, and the scientist was using me as a lab rat, so let me go to somebody who is from that realm and can give me an answer. Which, like, he's been lying this whole time, so I don't that doesn't fully check, but she's basically desperate, so she's here. And she shows
Girl
him
has no support in her life, though.
no, it's really bad. It's really, really bad. And so, like, this is your classic, like, person getting groomed because she's completely isolated. And so she's easy to take advantage of. And that's basically what Adriel does. And apparently, we learn in this conversation, this is the first time he's done this. He basically did this to Ariella as well. So anyway, she's there and she shows him her arms and she's like, what the fuck is happening to me? And he says, oh, that's Rhea's blood. Because remember when Jillian and her did the experiment in the last episode and she went through the portal with the body cam, the face that Jillian found when she synced up the times, we were trying to do the math to figure out, which hurt our brains. But Kaitlynn did it. Basically, that face was Rhea's face. So whatever is happening
to crap out of me every time.
Yeah, it looks like Count Chocula to me, but apparently that's Rhea. Count Chocula doesn't exist in that realm.
I love
it does. It looks like Count
so
Chocula.
Do you remember that conversation?
I see it.
I've said it multiple times.
I don't remember my name half the time.
I know.
Ooh, oh my god! There's a toy for Count Chocula.
Fuck yeah,
there's a Funko Pop.
All right.
Oh my god, that's a bit much. Of
course there is. There's a Funko Pop for everything, except the stuff I want Funko Pops of.
Yeah, truth. So anyway, Kaitlynn, close that tab.
Sorry, it's not the Count Chocula. It's the box of cereal that's the Funko Pop. Apparently.
Okay,
that's
well,
the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Yeah.
Anyway, so.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I'm closing it.
Don't read the reviews of that. They're probably littered with gold.
You're not allowed to open any more new tabs.
I'm not, but I'm a huge fan of the cereal, so it was really nice to have a Funko Pop of it.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, it was funny to me. It's been a long day.
For some reason, that was your review on this particular Funko Pop. We respect your opinion.
Not Kaitlynn, though. I don't think she does.
Kaitlynn, you're making your drinking problem worse.
Please put the cup down. Put the cup down. You're going to end up with coffee all over you.
Well, don't talk to her right now.
Wouldn't it be the first time?
So anyway, the point of this was that Rhea infected Lilith somehow with her blood. And so Adriel's hypothesis is that Lilith isn't turning into a Trask demon, but she's turning into something completely new. And Rhea's behind it, so there's probably nefarious reasons. Or not. We don't know enough about Rhea. And hopefully we'll learn that someday. But that's the gist of that conversation.
Apparently Rhea is a bloodborne pathogen.
She sure is. She sure is. Yeah, I find it very interesting. But I mean, the key is that like it also makes sense because we were talking like about this and we were talking about like the portal and like why the portal was rejecting Jillian, but like accepted Michael, accepted Lilith, and it has to. I think it's pretty clear it has something to do with you have to have some organic material from that other dimension to pass through unharmed. And so this is confirmation that Lilith can pass the portal because she has Rhea's blood in her veins, which is of that realm. But why something doesn't want her there? Is it enemies of Rhea? Is it Rhea herself? That's kind
Let's be
of
fair.
interesting.
Lilith made enemies wherever she goes.
I know, it's true. It could just be Lilith.
It's just Lilith.
I think the other point is, and they get into this later with Adriel, is that like basically you can't control Lilith either. And so maybe like Rhea made her and was like, yes, excellent, part of the plan. But Lilith being Lilith is like, I'm not going to be part of anybody's plan. And then Rhea's like, well, fuck. Get out of my realm.
GTFO.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? But Lilith's got some kick-ass powers, and she keeps transforming in some weird ways that we will get into later. But for now, we have to go to a part of the episode that I like, which is Beatrice roughing up the priest because she's trying to find Ava. And the priest can't just cooperate and be a decent human being. And of course, he has to goat Beatrice and be like, well, Ava has a dude now that's her new protector. And Beatrice is like super pissed off at that because why would you say that to Beatrice? That's so
Let's be real. He's protecting Michael.
I know.
Okay, Vincent knew too.
Got the vibes.
I think Vincent knew.
Knew what? Which
something
part?
about Beatrice being into Ava.
I mean, yeah, you can see it.
Everyone knows.
I know. Lilith knows. We all know. Jillian knows. Mother Superior knows. They all know. But he's being a little ass bitch. And basically he's like, oh yeah, she went off with her new protector and they have the crown. And that's great. And Beatrice is like, wonderful. And then before she can harm him further, Camilla shows up and she's like, listen, we need him alive for some reason. So I'll stay with him and you go find your girl because I understand that's where your brain's at. So Beatrice leaves in a jealous hurry while Camilla gets the priest into the van that poor Yaz is still driving. And then she's killing it and then has to up her driving game. This is like the worst game of I don't want to be here ever. And they're like, okay, cool, Yaz. Now cops are chasing us. So you have to like get us the fuck out of here and evade cops at the same time. But Yaz pulls it off. And so they do this narrow road race through Spain. And Yaz does a great job. And she doesn't, yell as much, which is great.
I mean, like, for not knowing how to drive, she sure can do a car chase.
Exactly.
Like, how is she able to... Okay, I don't get that.
I don't either.
It's called you rise to the occasion.
It's called suspending disbelief. Also, she has, the key reason they wanted her to drive in the first place is because she has the map of the entire city memorized, so she would know the layout but I don't understand for somebody who hasn't driven how they translate that into outrunning cops, but
I mean,
here we are.
Hit the gas pedal and hope.
And pray to...
In my head, I'm just picturing them beforehand, Mother Superior and Yasmin just being in the car, and Mother Superior go, okay, so put your foot on the brake, gas, brake, gas. Okay, step on the gas. No, not that fast. Yeah, speed limit. There you go. Oh, make a turn. No, too sharp.
Hands at 10 and 2.
Superior doesn't care about speed limits.
She's trying not to die. Like... It's about survival.
This was 101. They're like, okay, now throw everything I taught you out. Go.
Gas.
Time for that.
I mean, they were driving around for a little bit till they found Camilla and B, so they had to fill that car ride somehow.
Oh, I picture Yasmin trying to do like carpool karaoke and Mother Superior like not having it.
Mother Superior would have none of that. Or she surprises you and starts belting out whatever it is.
She could sing the songs from The Sound of Music that the nuns sing.
Oh, problem like Maria. How do you solve
Okay,
a problem
what's-
like
How do you solve a
Maria?
problem like
Problem
Yasmin?
like oh no, I was gonna do.
Ava?
Let's be real, it's
Yes.
Ava.
Like Ava.
Let's
No,
be real,
like,
it's Ava.
let's be real. All right, we need to make our own version of that song. Okay.
Yeah, I'm on it. I can do it.
No, do it for real.
How do you solve a problem like Ava?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Wait, there's another song I'm supposed to record too. I forget what it is, but I will actually do this one.
I forget what it is too. Okay. Excuse me. All right, so that's that scene. Meanwhile, in the lab, the portal is acting weird, Jillian notices. And she notes instead of doing the energy burst every 6 hours, which is what she was explaining to her creepy friend, who was it, Christian, a couple episodes ago, now the portal is remaining constantly active at this very low level. So that's weird. So she puts on her scientist brain and uses glasses, apparently, that she has.
Quantum frequency glasses.
Yes, her her nerd glasses. And then finds there's a radiological current coming from the Divinian flowing out of the portal towards the sky. And she's like, well, that's weird. Let me investigate. So she is like, wait a minute, does some quick maths, and then goes look at the papers that Christian, the dirtbag, made her sign. And then finally she gets the answer to her math equation and is like, well, I've been duped. Which, girl, you gotta read the fine print. Gotta read the fine print. Or the print, because you didn't read anything. You just signed it. And here we are.
Poor, like, Jillian's whole storyline. It's just, man.
Yeah, literally. Man. All right, and then we shoot over to Ava and Miguel, who are, making their way further downtown, and they have this conversation by a bridge tunnel.
Why? Why do you have to, every single time, you understand, like, I get distracted for 30 seconds singing this in my head?
Sing it. Making my way downtown.
Downtown, walking fast, faces past, and I'm homebound.
You turned it into jazz.
And I need you.
No. We're gonna fix that part. Actually, this is Beatrice singing, because it's an Ava Miguel scene. All right, so anyway, they have a conversation, and basically he gives her the crown back and comes clean that he was sent from the other side to help her stop Adriel. And before they can say anything, the cops show up and they run away. And that's basically the whole scene.
Is this the part? They have that whole conversation about not being honest with one another.
No, that's the next scene.
Is that later? Okay.
Yeah, this is the scene where basically.
Who have that?
Yeah, that's the one by the tunnels after the.
Okay, because I have a bone to pick about that one. Go ahead.
Only that one. Only that one. Nothing else.
Non-pointment is next.
So what happens?
So they drive past. So they're driving along in their van, just going back to the secret headquarters that's in the cinema. Which, guess what? It's on fire. Mother Superior is like, yes, what?
Kaitlynn.
I have something with this one.
All right. Okay. Can't wait. Now? Or...
You can continue.
So
wow. Kaitlynn.
They drive. Mother Superior tells Yasmin to keep driving. Don't slow down. Nothing. So they drive past it.
Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious.
Okay, now I'm going to interrupt.
They need to disappear. And later on, they'll call and find Ava and Beatrice. And Vincent says Adriel's everywhere. And I think that spooks Camilla.
It sure does. She's still living with her heist experience. And she's like, oh, yeah, I guess.
Now, what did you have to say, Kaitlynn?
Thank you. She says, keep driving. Don't slow down. But you look to them. They're all staring out the window and they're going so slow.
They're rubbernecking for sure, but the audience needs to see what's happening.
Well, also,
Yeah,
like,
but, like,
there's
looks
people
like
in
she
the
slowed down.
there's people in the
So?
street, so they're trying not to
Just
hit the
run them
pedestrians.
over.
Yeah, that's not
That
suspicious.
and she doesn't mean that she was gonna do what Mother Superior said.
I feel like Yasmin, especially right now, just really wants to be a good little nun
Yeah,
and
she
do what she's
does.
told.
I would naturally slow down if I was passing that and looking away.
It's a giant building on fire.
Yeah.
Curiosity is to look at
People
it.
were really sad that their movie theater was gone.
Yeah.
There was
well.
I forget
And you
what they
saw
said.
Adriel's cronies standing out there too.
Oh yeah. Well, they lit the fire. Let's be real.
Burn, baby, burn, baby.
So the next one is the thing I have a bone to pick with.
All right, pick that bone.
All right. So we go back to Ava and Miguel, who's insistent that he's not like Adriel. He's was over there, but he's not like Adriel. He's not super whatever from the other realm.
Right.
So she's like, "So you're human?" And he's like, "Well, mostly." And then they get into that. They circle back around to the argument about who was not honest with who. And he's like, "Well, you didn't tell me the truth either." And Ava's like, "Fair." And I'm like, "No, it's not fair, because everything about your situation was dependent upon not letting anyone know that you were the Halo bearer. So no, you had a very good reason for not being honest with Miguel, who you had, do not give him that one. That's my bone." Guess what? There's a fog coming now, and there's a bunch of Adriel's cronies with gas masks on, so that's not creepy at all. It's like Adriel, they look like Nazis in their gas masks with their weird, one of them has like a weird uniform thing looking on. Ava is going to follow these dudes whether Miguel wants her to or not, because bitch, you don't call the shots is pretty much what Ava's is like. So yes, they do follow the dudes, and that's that scene.
Can I tell a random story real quick that I promise I won't go off topic after this?
I don't trust you, but
and
sure.
Then I have something actually about this scene.
You know what? I'll hold my.
No, go ahead, Kaitlynn.
Because you're gonna be like, "Why the hell did you say this?"
Well, yes.
Okay, so the fog. So, you know how, like, when it's cold, or like, like the fog comes up from the ground on like the street. Yeah, when I was younger, I thought that was like spirits raising from the dead.
That would have been terrifying to think that.
Or comforting.
I'm just like, the fog just reminded me of that.
I mean, that checks out because they end up in like a graveyard later in this scene or in this episode. So relevant. But
thank you.
Something I want to touch on this scene, and we kind of talked about it a little bit. There's when Ava and Miguel are getting into their, "Oh, why weren't you honest? Why weren't you honest?" kind of situation. Miguel has this line where he says like the heart of the whole thing, where he says, "The truth was I got caught up in having fun. My life before it was not fun." And like, this is when Ava, I think, is like, "Okay, I can trust you," because this is literally what happened to her.
Yep.
Like, and hence why those 2 months in Switzerland, like making Cuba Libres in the 1-bedroom flat with Beatrice, was like, that's what she was doing. She was basically, in a way, just like getting caught up in having fun, in just like living her life for the first time in like decades since she's been paralyzed. And so like, she kind of gets that. She's like, I was kind of out of it too, because I was off living my fantasy life with Beatrice. And both of these characters, they were robbed of their childhoods, their teenage years, and ended up with these godlike responsibilities that were forced onto them. And now they both have powers that they've been burdened with, which are paradoxically the cures for the ailments that would have like naturally shortened / stunted their lives. Like, Michael is mostly human. He's part divinium, and that was due to his lack of immune system, and that was the thing that kept him alive. Otherwise, he would have got sick from anything and died, basically. And then Ava's paralysis that led to the evil nun poisoning her, her ending up in the church where the halo happened to be. Like, these, like, cataclysmic events that really, like, robbed them of having fun were the things that ultimately ended up with them having these massive responsibilities on them and ended up with them being in this situation to begin with. So it's really interesting that these two characters really did have this similar, like, series of unfortunate events that ended up with them being these, like, high pawns, players, whatever, in this, like, giant game of, like, angels and demons or whatever the hell's going on. But ultimately that's a point of understanding with these two, that, like, really, like, when you have a chance to have fun, like, go do it, because your chance, you never know when you're going to get that chance again. And I think in this moment Ava gets that, and she's like, okay, I understand everything now. All is forgiven for you being, like, vague and stuff, and me being vague. Like, I understand why you were having fun with the Samaritans and doing all that stuff.
Well, you know, Miguel's just want to have fun.
I mean, they both do. They're like, you forget in this world that, like, they're still, like, children. They're like dipping a toe into adulthood. They're not even really adults yet. And they just have these, like, crazy responsibilities and burdens that they're bearing. But, like, because of that, it robs them of their chances to really live their lives the way they'd want to and have fun. So, just something to kind of reflect on, because, like, that was basically Ava. Ava was just doing that for 2 months with Beatrice, living her, like, little fantasy fun life. In the gay apartment that Barbara made. Yes.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you, Barbara.
I love that we opened
check out Barbara's interview.
eyes to the gayness of that apartment.
She made it natural, and so it all checked out because
Exactly.
it was living there.
The gay, the
all right. Yes, the gays. And so after
if that's just Switzerland, I think we all need to move to Switzerland.
I agree. If gay flats are just the norm, what are we doing here? If you're from Switzerland and listening to this podcast, let us know if that's what Swiss apartments are like.
I feel like we do have somebody from Switzerland.
The truth is out there.
Yep.
Okay, so after that, there's some trouble with the van.
Flat tire.
It ends up with a flat tire. So these super special nuns get taken out by a flat tire. And Mother Superior's like, well, we'll just, like, pray for another solution. And Camilla peeks around the corner and is like, oh, God works in mysterious ways because there's a pink van. Let's get inside this van. No questions asked. And then they drive away.
She goes to hotwire the van, and Mother Superior sends Yasmin to have a lesson in hot wiring vehicles.
She's just gaining all kinds of skills on this wild night she's having.
Yep.
I feel like if this was told from Yaz's point of view, it would be like one of those movies, like, all I can think of is, like, Bill and Ted's Bogus Adventures, like one of those movies where it's just like, I was just trying to go here and then ended up having this crazy adventure I didn't ask for, and it sounds bananas, but it's real life. That's, like, Yaz's point of view this whole episode. Especially later on with the van.
But next, it's getting gassy.
It sure is. And I love that Ava and Miguel have so much Gryffindor energy. They're like, we can get through this fog without gas masks or face coverings or doing any kind of precautions, sleeves, nothing. And, like, I love that Michael by the end, or Miguel, cannot breathe, but none of them, like, think to, like, cover their mouths in any way, shape, or form. They're just like, we got this.
This whole part of the episode is going to be a lesson in why Beatrice is smarter than
Beatrice
either
is a Ravenclaw. These two are such Gryffindors. They're like, we got this. No,
I don't know what that means.
They're just all bravery, no brains. Like, they're not thinking.
Okay.
Head empty. They got their savior complex on. Meanwhile, Beatrice later is like, I should really steal one of these gas masks or I'm going to die.
You can hear screaming as they're walking along with their dumb faces all exposed and whatnot. So they're being affected by the fog. And that's why Ava has a hallucination of Miguel's face being like a ghost skeleton thingamabob that's gonna.
I
What?
missed that part every single time I watch this episode.
Are you freaking kidding me? How do you miss it?
I just barely don't watch it. I guess whenever he's on the screen, I start tuning out.
Okay,
I mean,
I don't know
enough.
why though.
That's fair.
Yeah. So Ava suggests they avoid the guards by going over this brick wall, but Ava, being Ava, just walks through it while Miguel climbs up and spends a lot of effort to get over it. And then he's like, that was cool.
It was a
Such
cool
dude
trick.
thing.
But could she have brought him with her, like through the wall?
I don't know. We've never seen her phase through anything with a person, have we?
No.
No, we haven't. I don't know if she could or not.
I don't know if she can.
Simon!
Another thing that happened before that is basically Michael explains like why he's here. And basically says that like, oh, he's here to help her and Adriel and not just put the crown on him. And like whatever his master plan is, like the two of them have to do it together. So it's like further fleshing out like why on earth he's here. It's not just like to help Ava, but like so that him and Ava can take down Adriel together. And she's like, that's weird.
Well, and it's like she wants to ask so many questions, but they're like actually out near the enemy people,
Right.
So they have things to do.
They get distracted by the fog and the screaming, which is totally fine, but like,
yeah,
Miguel or whatever is starting to be more honest with her about his real motives here.
Yeah.
And yeah.
The next scene, all I have, like, my main title for this is Adriel is creeptastic.
He sure is. And so unfortunately we're back to Adriel and Lilith, and he starts questioning her about what is going on the other side. Because remember, it's been like 10,000 years his time since he's been back there. And she reiterates kind of what we already knew, which is that she doesn't really remember what happened. Like in season 1, the Tarrasque demon speared her, took her back into the other realm. And she doesn't remember anything from that experience. She's like, next thing I knew, I was back and I had all these weird powers and I don't know what the fuck's going on. So so who knows what Michael really remembers about his life before? Maybe like somebody wiped her memory. Maybe that's part of like transitioning there. Who knows? But like season 1, Lilith, all what happened to her, she still doesn't fully remember that. And Adriel puts together that, again, reiterates that he thinks Rhea is the one that did this to her. And she's the one that's been chasing him in the halo this entire time. He confirms that Rhea is the one that created the Tarrasque, and their whole purpose of existing is to get him, the thief, and the thing he stole, the halo, and bring them back to Rhea. Because, like, that's Rhea's property, and this bitch went and stole it. So those demons, like, literally have one purpose. And so that's why they keep showing up when the halo flares, and they're like, oh, is Adriel here? We got to bring that bitch back. So that's really what they're doing. But the reason he thinks that Rhea made Lilith is because the Tarrasque demon can't stay on this plane for a long period of time, which is why like they wait till there's a halo flare and then they show up to maximize how much time. Right. So he's like, you Lilith, obviously look at you, you're still standing here, like you can exist on this plane. And I think that's because Lilith organically, like chemically, is from Earth, and so she can exist on Earth longer than the Tarrasque demons, which are made of like purely the other realm. They're made of just straight up divinium. And so Rhea's like, let me try this. And then the experiment didn't go to plan. Like she couldn't use Lilith the way she wanted to. And this is when Adriel's pointing this out, this is when he turns up the grooming by playing into Lilith's vanity. He says things like, she underestimated how powerful you are and how much free will you have and like all this stuff. And like basically like Ava comes up and he's like, no, you're special, not her. And like all this stuff. And he does the ultimate power move here where instead of like removing choice from Lilith, which is what I think she felt Jillian was doing, he basically says, well, now you know what's going on. You decide what you're going to do with that. And like walks away after like playing into her vanity. Then he's just like, you decide, and like walks away.
What a manipulative j-hole.
I mean, that's all he knows.
I don't like him.
You're not supposed to like him.
I like the actor, don't like the character. F off, Adriel.
Yeah, I particularly don't like him and the Lilith stuff. It's just
it's so creepy.
It's super creepy.
I'm sure the actor's nice. I hate the character.
The actor is very nice.
But so Pastries.
Then we jump to the van scene.
Yes, Camilla tells Yaz she can slow down.
She's got too much adrenaline going.
Yeah, she does. And I'm like, also probably her blood sugar's low. So Camilla goes to find some food, and because I guess she noticed they're in a food type van, but when she opens the box, what does she find? Erotic pastries. But the best part is the Camilla apologizes, opens the box for Mother Superior, who looks down and just kind of takes it in stride, whips out a dick, and starts eating it.
To be honest, she looks pretty chill.
Yeah, she looked happy. Like,
yeah, pretty excited for it. Like, it's Mother Superior level excited.
Yeah.
Right. The reserved excitement. I just love that Camilla couldn't like bear what was happening, and she wouldn't even look at the box.
Exactly.
She's like, I apologize for the food shapes.
Exactly. She's like not she's like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm offering this to Mother Superior.
Yep. She's like, this is happening, and I have so much Catholic guilt right now from this moment in my life.
Much.
Yeah. But when come on, like Mother Superior already pulled Camilla down.
Listen, Mother Superior. Where's her backstory? she's not this isn't her first rodeo of any sort. Let's be real.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
She's seen some things.
She's seen some things. She's done some things. Good for you. Good for you, Mother Superior.
That was just a cool little interlude of comedic tension release. I enjoyed it. I think everyone did.
It was amazing, well acted. Apparently the pastries from that, it's a real place, and apparently they're really good. So
yeah. So like, if you're in Madrid, go find these pastries. Go eat a dick.
They also apparently also have a vagina shop.
Well, yeah.
Good for them.
We have a TikTok friend that's been there telling us about it.
That's how I found out. Yeah. I read the comments.
Love you.
Yay for a TikTok person. We get to I like that we get to go from this scene to another good scene, because any scene with Beatrice in it is good. Oh dear
Kaitlynn,
Lord.
What are you doing?
Oh my god. Don't lean away from the mic.
Apparently they taste good. If you're ever in Madrid, Spain, wherever they are, check them out. Let us know how it goes.
Take pictures and send them to us.
Yes.
Or tweet them to us.
Yes. Or send them on whatever social media platform you follow us on.
Yes.
We everywhere. So Beatrice kicking cops' asses?
Yes, Beatrice is in hot pursuit. And she knocks out a policeman and uses his radio because she's smart to ask where the suspects are.
She is fucking smart. Jesus Christ. Everyone is dumb in this episode.
Exactly. So she learns where they're going or where they were last seen and goes off in that direction. And then we go to Jillian, who's got a bone to pick herself with her former minion, now Adriel's minion.
We love minions.
She traces the whole, this is where the energy is with her quantum whatever glasses, and goes to the building that she owns just to find out that it's Adriel's big bad church now, his mega church, if you will. And all of that energy is being filtered and conducted through the cross that's in the middle of this big prayer circle, is what I'm calling it. Christian sees her and gets up and he goes after her. He takes off his robe, and then they have a whole discussion about his using her property to create Adriel's church. And she's like, the fuck dog. And he's like, yeah, but I didn't break any rules and stuff. So he explains that he's completing her mission, which, okay, sure, dog, sure, okay. And she's like, no, you built a church for a cult, bitch. It's
Well,
not my mission.
He says, like, her mission to bridge science and God. So, like, kind of, because they're figuring out how to open that portal in a sustainable way, which would bridge the two realms of, like, heaven and earth. So, like, technically he is. His motivation isn't really that anymore, because it's clear that he is a true believer in whatever is happening. And in his defense, she has been super negligent of everything outside of what is happening in her lab. And bitch has been signing papers without reading the fine print. So, like,
bad
legally,
move.
she has no defense here. Yeah, exactly.
She trusted him, and he went off and did, his own thing with Adriel, and she can't do anything about it because he's not breaking any rules. He's not violating their contract. And then he tries to persuade her one more time, and she's just pissed that she trusted him. And I'm like, you should be, because that was a dumb move, but whatever. So she leaves, goes off back to her car, and then the next scene is Beatrice being smarter than everyone else here.
Yeah. Let's talk about this scene. So Beatrice is in the graveyard, and there's fog everywhere. And because at this point, when she's walking through on the hunt for Ava and Miguel, she doesn't have a gas mask on. So she's being affected by the fog or the plague, whatever this is. And remember, in a prior scene, when it was affecting Ava, she ended up seeing this, like, demon ghost apparition or something pass over Michael's face.
Yep.
I'll come back to that. But what Beatrice sees is Ava. And Ava is completely shrouded in shadows in this vision. And her hair is completely slicked back, and she's stalking forward like a predator towards Beatrice. Like an Ava Beatrice has never seen before, basically. And she says to her, "It's too late, B. There's no point in hiding it. I know what you are." And after she delivers this, like, Beatrice gets scared and says, "Stop, you're not real." And she keeps, like, basically saying that. And Ava repeats, like, "I know what you are." And it's much more aggressive and louder. And Beatrice, like, freaks all the way out and says, "You're not real. You're not real." And she says it over and over again, even after this apparition of Ava, like, goes away. And, like, the Ava, like, smiles like she won or like she's victorious, like predator behavior. And at the end of it, Beatrice is really, really shooken up by this vision. What do you think this was all about?
I was asking myself this question. I ask myself this question every time I watch it, this scene.
Yes.
And the only, I know what you are. Is it her grappling with her sexuality?
So that's where my brain went the first time, but I was like, that doesn't make any sense, because
it doesn't.
They had the conversation in season 1 where they had this exact conversation. Like, it can't be that. It has to be something much more personal, something that Beatrice is guarding right now, having lived with Ava for 2 months. And it's the line is, "I know what you are."
Right.
Yeah. So I'm glad this took 3 weeks, because I really had to think about this, because I couldn't quite figure it out. And so I think it has something to do with what Beatrice's deepest fear is right now that she isn't voicing aloud, because the plague seems to be manifesting fears. And so when Ava saw what she saw pass over Michael's face, it looked like a demon. It looked like death. Like, And I think Ava is afraid of dying, and she has been for some time. And I think she's afraid of people she cares about dying. And like in her brain, that's like if she fails as the warrior nun, like everybody she knows is going to die, she might die. So that's kind of what she sees on Michael's face, because he gets really pale and like there's like black lines. So he almost looks like a skeleton, like a ghost, like he's dead. And so like I think she's afraid of losing people, because Ava's ultimately afraid of being alone, and now she has the responsibility of others and keeping them alive on her back as the halo bearer. And that's been her biggest fear I mean, dying has been her biggest fear. Now losing people she loves is also her biggest fear, which she voices out later. Spoiler, in another episode, she literally says that out loud. That's what she's actually afraid of. So I think what Beatrice is really afraid of is um basically being a failure. I think it ultimately is failing. You're a failure. I think that's what Ava was trying to say here, because where Beatrice is right now is she's in the aftermath of the heist, where she failed to control every little thing that was going to happen. And her worst fear played out, which is where Ava was taken and Ava's gone and she doesn't know what's happening. And she failed to keep Ava safe. And that's what's haunting Beatrice this entire episode. And so it's manifesting in this apparition of Ava. And Ava is like the complete opposite of actual Ava. Like Ava is like sunshine Ava and carefree and smiling, and her hair is usually down. And the way this apparition appears, it's like Ava's wearing a mask and she's like, oh, like this mask of power or something. It's like completely different from who like Ava is. Like Ava has power, but she doesn't like flaunt it, wield it, use it as a weapon. But like this apparition like like behaves and moves almost like she does. And so it's like the complete opposite of like the Ava she knows. And I think it's almost like you failed me and now like I know you're a failure. I can never look at you the same way. And I think she's afraid of like losing Ava's trust if she like comes back because Beatrice failed. And so I think that's what she's really afraid of, like that Ava thinks that Beatrice is a failure, Beatrice can't keep her safe, Beatrice can't be trusted, and like she will lose Ava completely because of this. And I think that's what she's really afraid of, and it manifests like in this kind of subtle way and I in the graveyard. And that's the best I've come up with by just like looking at this and trying thinking about it, cuz like I agree with you, Bree. The first place my brain went to was like it's her queerness, but I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Ava already knows this. And it's like not enough to shake Beatrice at this point, like and make her so afraid. Because yeah, she's not voicing her feelings for Ava out loud, but they're definitely there and she's definitely accepted them on some level at this point. So this reaction doesn't make sense for that. It has to be something deeper that like she hasn't told anybody, even Ava. And I think she's afraid Ava will judge her for it, and Ava has never judged her about anything. Ava didn't judge her about her queerness, like nothing. But like I think all of Beatrice's skills and everything she learned failing in such a way that harms Ava, I think that's really what she's afraid of, and she thinks she's a failure right now based on how the heist went down.
Right. I mean, it makes sense with her upbringing as far as her parents wanting her to basically be the perfect. I mean, and I feel like Beatrice is a person who probably went through her childhood trying to prove to her parents that she was good enough and
Yeah.
has had that fear of failure kind of baked into her brain through
And
those experiences.
yeah, and in the sense of the parents, like perfection was tethered to affection, right? So that is an
Exactly.
old PTSD trauma response that like if I'm not like, and that came up in the very first episode of season 2 where like it was like you don't have to be perfect all the time, like it's okay. But Beatrice still has it in her that like yeah, she does have to be perfect at all times, because even like that's how she lost her family, because she wasn't perfect or met their definition of perfection. And she never really got over that. She just went into the OCS basically out of school, which demands perfection, otherwise you die. So like she never got to like break free of that. And we see even like during those 2 months when they were in Switzerland, like yeah, Beatrice was starting to let some of that go, but like she didn't. That's how she got the promotion within a week. And like even Ava can see it. She's like, you're still doing this and you really don't need to. But now she's at a point where like stakes are high and she's like, I do have to be perfect, otherwise like if I make one mistake it could cost me Ava, basically could cost me my life, your life. Like, yeah, the stakes are high. I do have to be perfect. Like, I'm slipping, I'm a failure. So like she's just spiraling because it's like reinforcing that like I'm getting distracted. And I think Beatrice is on her way to like really reconciling the fact that she is distracted by like the way she feels about Ava, and because she hasn't voiced it aloud, and that's all internal. And so she thinks she's a failure at this point, and that's the thing that like she's had to maintain her whole life is not to be one. So it's very sad, and it's very real, like to have that kind of like mentality bred into you, some culture, like maybe culturally. Beatrice, that was something that was important to her family growing up too, that just more reinforces it even more. And that's how you get it tied to like affection and love and being worthy. And so it's hard to break out of that. And yeah, I think that's where Beatrice is at. Yeah. So after that, Beatrice then does the smartest thing anyone does in this episode, where she knocks out one of the goons and steals the gas mask. So she doesn't have any more of those distracting hallucinations and moves on with the other day.
Yes. Why didn't those other dorks think of this?
But hey, they have Gryffindor energy. That's why they're like, we don't need to do that. We'll just use our muscles. Mm-hmm. And to be fair, Miguel and Ava do get there, coughing because they don't have any masks on. But they make it to the church, where conveniently the fog is like dissipated completely, because it's almost like the fog is funneling you towards the church to salvation or whatever. I don't know. And basically they follow these group of people who are running from the fog into the church, and there's guards at the door, which are Borf, Adriel's goons, and they're like, listen, in order to come inside, you have to accept Adriel as your savior. And atheist Ava is like, I just have to say that? Okay, sure. Yeah, see. Sure, see. Whatever.
Cool.
Sure. And then walks right in, because you guys are fucking ridiculous. Sure, whatever.
Whatever you say.
Sure. Yeah, sure. See. And inside the church, the goons are putting wraith demons into just people, because the wraith demons need people to like, for them to stay on this plane. So unlike the Taras demons who can't inhabit bodies, these demons can, and they're Adriel's demons. And so it looks like they're curing ailments by doing this, because I guess they have some healing property from the other plane. So like they have one girl who's paralyzed like Ava was. They put a wraith demon in her, and she can walk for the first time. So it's Adriel demonstrating quote unquote miracles and building his army at the same time. So that's what's basically happening here. And the other thing we learn in the scene that's important is that Miguel can also see the demons like Ava can, which is interesting. And then my favorite part of the episode, in terms of how ridiculous Miguel is as a character, is he basically convinces Ava, like Ava's like, oh shit, we gotta stop this. And he's like, no, we can't expose ourselves. And then 2 seconds later, he volunteers to sacrifice himself to the demons. It makes no fucking sense. He's like, no, we can't do that, but I'm gonna go do it. And it's like, bro, Gryffindor energy.
It's only okay if it's him.
Right. Yeah. Right. I'm like, what the fuck? It's so ridiculous. And so anyway, so when the wraith demon tries to possess Miguel, he uses the divinium in his body to like blow up the wraith demon, and apparently everyone can see that once it happens, because it's like tainted with divinium when it comes out of his body, and the explosion of the demon starts a massive panic, as should be expected. So like nothing about this scene is discreet, nothing about it is smart. It's just a mess, and starts a panic in the church.
What a fun time.
I don't understand Miguel. Like this scene made me really not understand him. I was like, what?
He's like the do as I say, not as I do person.
It's
so annoying.
It took 2 seconds. 2 seconds to spin around on that.
And now everybody's freaking out. You're the one that wants to keep a low profile, and you're over here blowing up freaking wraith demons.
Also, she has the halo and can't be exposed.
Yeah.
And then do this in a room full of hundreds of people.
What a dumbass.
This was peak dumbassery, yeah. This scene. It leads to a cool fight scene, but this was really stupid if you think about it.
And I love that I have a note in here that's in all caps and it just says hypocrite.
Yes, literally 2 seconds later, he's like, I'm gonna do it. It's what? Why is
whatever? Whatever. Idiot. Well, I guess we can. Are we good to go back to the dick van?
Yeah.
Back in the dick van, they're deciding what to do with Vincent while eating the dicks like corn on a cob, which amused me greatly. And Mother Superior,
I want to see all the takes they did of that scene.
I want to see everything. Mother Superior takes Camilla's pistol and marches Vincent outside into the grass and makes him kneel and face her. And they talk. Basically, we know she's not going to do it, but
I know. This was dumb.
She just should have shot him, and then everyone's lives would have been better. But anyway, they talk about how Shannon was too strong and too smart, and that's why he had to get rid of her. Wow, bro.
But the gaslighting in this conversation too. He's like, "Oh, I loved Shannon, but everything I did was in pursuit of a better world."
Yeah, so I had to kill her.
Like,
that's the dumbest.
She should have killed him just for that sentence. Especially after we get the flashbacks of Shannon and Mother Superior and we learn how close those two actually were. Like, you should have killed him just for saying that.
Exactly. Like, why didn't take him out?
Because he's the slippery male character that gets away unharmed in the show, even though he did so many despicable things. Like, he just goes away. Nothing happens to him.
Oh, and the line that really, really grated on me was when he says he needed a warrior nun that he could control.
Yeah. Yep.
Why didn't she just kill him?
I don't know. It's so stupid. We really didn't need him at all.
They had a thing.
God, I hope not.
A while ago, but they had a thing.
You're probably right, and I hate that.
Just saying.
Maybe that's why she can't kill him.
Well, give the gun to somebody else then.
Yeah.
Give it to Camilla.
Camilla
would just kill him. The gun at that point.
Like,
you know what? Okay, here's the scene.
Teach Yaz, too.
What should have happened is that Mother Superior is pointing the gun. And then as soon as she was like, I can't do it, there should have been another gun that going off. Camilla's in the back, be like, yeah, but I can. Afterwards.
That would have been a badass scene.
That's such a Camilla thing to do, though. Because, usually it doesn't go right for the first person. Then she's in the background like, whoops.
Oops.
Was I not supposed to do that? Oh, well.
Remember how she was shooting the crap out of Adriel with that crossbow in season 1 at the end?
Yeah, exactly.
She should have done that to Vincent. Shot him with an arrow right through the freaking temple.
Yeah, exactly. Or teach Yaz.
She has a machine gun, doesn't she?
Not on her. Right
Not
now.
On her.
Oh.
Normally,
you don't know what she's got.
She's got dicks in a van. Okay, I don't think
it would be the most
real damage with them with the stick.
Creative death ever.
Right through the eyeball.
Through the ear.
Yeah.
See, Camilla could have got that shit done. So
she could have. It shouldn't have been Mother Superior.
No, it should not have been.
Whatever. She lets him live and pushes him over with her cane. I was really hoping that he would just kind of fall off whatever hill or cliff that they're on and keep going, but he didn't. Yeah. But she breaks his leg. That's the only good thing she does, which doesn't, he's not going to follow them, but still. It's not enough. Just kill him, whatever. So back to the church.
Apparently, there weren't any wolves in this area to eat him.
Yeah, apparently not. Great. That would have been wonderful.
Yes. That was dumb.
Miguel is sitting up here pontificating about Adriel not being a savior while people panic. And the priest is like, he's bringing the demons. So all the people that are possessed by the demons attack and the people that are not, apparently. But Ava gets into the fight. This is our big, huge fight scene that's really awesome. Ava tries to reason with the girl that was paralyzed and got possessed by the demon, but the big priest dude goes after her and they fight instead. And then guess what? Somebody flies through the door, and the person that kicked that person through the door, Beatrice strides in like the
Big
fucking
boss bitch.
badass she is.
Yep, she made it just in time.
Yes, she did. So we go this really amazing sequence to sequence fight where you get one person will come in, a person will be fighting with someone, and then another character will kind of come through the scene, and then you follow that character to the next time that they switch off, and it's just a really amazingly done fight scene. Many kudos to everyone involved who got that done.
Thank you, Kuko. Everyone go thank
you,
Kuko.
Kuko.
I love
Wait.
and yeah, what?
Because would that be the fight or stunt?
I mean,
That's
did the
just
fight
he's the
coordinating.
supervisor of all of the above.
Yeah, he supervised this.
Okay.
And then whoever is doing the camera and editing after, or the camera and then the editing afterwards.
Yeah, kudos to everybody here. How's
Yeah,
that?
exactly.
So anyway, I love in this fight the way Michael is just this chaotic flurry.
Yes.
And he just like he smacks people with Bibles. He's just like launching off of stuff. Like it's peak dude fighting where it's just again a no brain. It's all muscle and just like he's just throwing himself at at like people.
If you like look at the comparison between everyone's fighting, but especially Michael and Beatrice. So you've got Michael who's a brawler. That's what I would call him. He's a brawler. He just uses everything he has and throws himself into things.
Right.
And then Beatrice is fucking art over here, like
because she knows like every martial art,
kicking ass like a dancer.
But you have to say like they're like polar opposites, but you also have to look at Ava, and Ava is actually really controlled too when she's fighting. Even though she's missed punch first, ask questions later, she's very controlled with like her movements and is very strategic, which is it's only Michael who's just this flurry of fists the whole time, whereas everybody else is a lot more like.
Well, who trained Ava? Beatrice. So
yeah, but like kudos to Ava.
Yes, big kudos.
And when she spots Beatrice, it's awesome because then Ava starts slowly making her way over to Beatrice, like while beating some people up, and then we get at the altar the kick-ass spin move. Or Ava like throws her arm out in front of Beatrice like you do when you're driving and you're stopping short and you're trying to like save the passenger. Like Ava just does that instinctively, leaves Michael all exposed, but only like puts an arm out for Beatrice because
her lady love.
Priorities.
This scene is about priorities at the end.
It is. Oh, it is the whole time. Like Michael who? Basically the rest of this episode for Ava. Kind of.
But Beatrice and Ava get to reunite, and that's the important part at this point.
They do. And then they have this hug. But before that happens, like I love that like when it calms down after the spin move or whatever, Beatrice tries to move to hug Ava, but can't because her leg seized up. So like she tries. So she at least has to like wait for Ava to do it. But because like think about Beatrice. Beatrice has just been since the moment this episode started, she's been panicking and like singularly focused on just like making sure Ava is alive to like rectify her failure. And so here she's like, okay, Ava is okay. Like I didn't fail in keeping you alive. Like you are still alive. So and to Ava, like think about Ava, like these two haven't been apart since season one. Like they've been together consistently since the end of season one, and this is like really the first time they've been separated for like a significant period of time. And the thing that Ava was afraid of in season one was people leaving her. And when they were doing the wall phase trial, Beatrice said, you're part of us now. We will never leave you. And Ava's like, promise, promise. So like, this is confirmation to Ava too, that like Beatrice means what she said. She's not going to leave me. She came and found me, even though we're in this ridiculous church fighting all these crazy people. Like, Beatrice isn't going to leave you. So it's this big confirmation of many, many things. And then when they do the hug, it's like they like slam into each other, and it's all Ava, like Ava coming towards Beatrice because Beatrice isn't moving. So it's this very like emotional relief of just like confirmation of many things. So it's like, it's a really good moment. Yeah. And it's really cute because after they break apart in this from the hug, like they don't leave each other's side the rest of this episode. Like, even after they break out of the hug, like Beatrice is just like clinging onto Ava's arm because she's like, I can't believe you're here and you're not going anywhere, and I'm and we're not splitting apart again. Like, here you are.
These actors were so good at paying attention to details of where their positioning is in relation to one another.
Mm-hmm.
In this whole, ever since, well, I mean, in general, but especially since season 2 started, and we know that they have these feelings between them. So I just think it's so cool, the little minutia of even how they stand in relation to one another, or just it's just so good. And I don't see it where it convinces me enough to where I don't even think about the act. Their acting is just good. End of sentence.
Yeah, kudos to both y'all. You did a great job.
Absolutely.
And then we get caretaker Ava, which is really cute.
So cute.
Like, yeah, you okay?
I will protect you.
And Michael's like, yeah, this is all cute and stuff, but the possessed people are pissed. And like they
They-
start getting up and coming after them. And you gotta love Ava. Ava goes back into Gryffindor mode where she's like, I'm gonna punch all these bitches. But Beatrice is in the background and she's like, girl, what? No. And I love this because if that were Michael, Ava would be like, fuck you, and she'd start punching people. But because it's Beatrice, the one person she fucking listens to, she's like, okay, I'll hear you out. And Beatrice tells her, let go, which means use the halo, like tap into the halo, go to your happy center place, like sister Michael, wait, who is it, I forget, and the Nazi one, and she's like, harness the halo.
Yeah,
is it Michelle?
No, it's oh, that's gonna bother
I know
me.
Damn it,
Bother me.
I feel like
What the
it's
hell?
Michelle. It doesn't matter ultimately.
Oh, it's gonna bug me. But anyway,
I know. It doesn't matter. Huh?
No, Crimson's the evil one that
she wasn't in the
murdered.
show. Yeah, it's in my show notes from like season 1, but I don't want to find them right now. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Go listen to our season 1 recap and you'll find the name of that nun, because we definitely talked about it. It doesn't matter. So basically, Beatrice is telling her, hey, harness the power of the halo and use that. And Ava's like, okay, great idea. And then tells Beatrice to hang on and wraps both arms around Beatrice while Michael like gets an elbow.
Yeah. She doesn't make any effort. She turns her back.
I'm telling you, she doesn't even know he's there until she's like, oh, is he injured? Oh no. Yeah, like he gets an elbow. That's all that guy gets. And then Beatrice gets both arms around her. And then Ava does the halo flare, which works on all the demons and possessed people and Michael, and like throws everybody away, which is hilarious. So the only people untouched by this are Beatrice and Ava.
Exactly. And that's funny. Exactly how it should be. And it is Sister Melanie, according
Melanie,
to
that was it. I knew it was an M. Thank you. But I love how Ava so blatantly plays favorites. And the only, like, clearly she had to concentrate on, like, not only doing the halo flare, but, like, keeping Beatrice okay.
Yeah.
So she was clearly, that is all she was focusing on. She wasn't focusing on anything else because she sends Michael into, like, a fountain or something. It's hilarious. I love it so much.
She could have, like, if she wanted to, she could have, like, turned and put an arm around both of them and, like, pulled them down and protected them. But no.
Nope. Not at all. She's like, okay, Beatrice. I literally
must
forgot
protect
Michael was
Beatrice.
Here. Forgot he was here.
I love it.
I would love to stay in that scene.
Me too.
And not go to the next one.
Can we? Gosh, the only thing I have written for this scene is the pertinent points and then gross.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Because Adriel's telling Lilith his side of the story, basically.
I know.
Feeding her his propaganda is what I will call it.
Yeah, this is the grooming. This is him grooming Lilith.
Exactly. He tells her to he took the halo to protect it from those who would misuse it. Sure, Jan.
Yeah, I know.
But he tells Lilith that she is his destiny, which is creepy beyond imagining.
Literally, you guys met 5 minutes ago. How did you get there?
And she's the personification of power.
He's literally just
like feeding, blowing smoke up her bottom.
Yes.
Is what he's doing. And he tells her that she has more power than any warrior nun.
Yes. He's trying to strike a chord with Lilith. Because remember, he has eyes and ears everywhere. So he can find information about her in like 5 seconds and know what all of her issues are, which since season 1 she's been jealous of Ava. She wanted to be the warrior nun. Her mom thinks she's a monster. So he starts using all this language that like plays to her ego because he's trying to win her over and make her be like, well, it was your choice to join me. So he's like putting on the charm to get her to choose to join him. Yeah, by being like, I get you, I see you. Which at this point nobody sees Lilith. And so it's like she's been isolated, and now here's somebody who sees her and is like, oh, I see the potential in you. You can be even better than a warrior nun. Like he's playing into all of her wants and dreams and like gaslighting her as well.
It's the gaslighting scene. I don't want it. Let's go back to the flying nuns.
Well, wait, hold on.
Well, the nuns don't fly right away.
Yeah, anyway, no, that was everything. Sorry, I was just reading through my notes. Yep, that's enough. Back at the church. So Ava's trying to leave, and she's trying to leave with Beatrice while Miguel's passed out in the room full of demons. She's like, let's go, Bea, and like literally just is leaving Miguel. And unfortunately, she doesn't get anywhere with her bae because the trust demons show up, and they're like, hey, Halo call, give us her shit back. And then before Ava can really do anything, the Wraith demons come out, and those guys start battling because they're not on the same side.
Exactly.
The Wraith demons are Adriel's army, and the Trust demons are Rhea's army. So those two start fighting with each other. And Ava's like, cool, they're distracted. We need to get the fuck out of here, though. But they're like blocking all the exits, essentially. And Michael's like, hey, just do whatever, get the Halo out of here. I'll, as I'm dying, fight off some people with this trident, apparently, that's in this room. And Ava's like, great, I got an idea. She's like, Beatrice, hold me. And Beatrice is like, wait, what? And yeah, it was like, just let it happen. And like grabs onto Beatrice and then uses the Halo to like fly them out of here. Like she's Superwoman's Beatrice out of there. This isn't like super corp shit that we wish we had. But the problem with that is they get through like the beautiful stained glass window and they're like about to make it, but the Halo shuts off while they're escaping because like, quote unquote, to quote Ava, someone is like turning the power off, and it seems like this is happening more often and it's at the worst time. So they end up like stumbling to the ground because Ava cannot fly anymore. And when she recovers, she's like, she says she's paralyzed, but her arms work. So she's like paraplegic at this point where like her legs aren't really working, but her arms are working. So interesting. There's enough Halo power to get her arms to work. Right. And at this point, they get into an argument about Michael or Miguel, and Ava's like, we gotta help him and the people in the church. And Beatrice's like, girl, no, like I just got you back. I'm not throwing you back in there. We gotta leave. Yeah. But before they can actually get into this argument, it becomes a moot point because Miguel stumbles out of the church and he's like, listen, I'm fine, or whatever. And then he's like, well, the cops are here now because that was a giant explosion. So we got to get the fuck out of here. And while they figure out where to go, because remember, the OCS nuns are in their van. They don't know where they are. They have no communication to anybody else. They really have no options. But Miguel conveniently is like, let's go to my house and hide. Like, dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. I wonder where we're headed to next episode.
It's so mysterious.
So mysterious.
Mysterious Miguel.
Tune in next time to find out.
I never would have guessed.
No. Anything about that scene before we just wrap up the episode?
I really enjoy everything about the flying nuns that just happened, and I do like that there's some Christina talked about the shenanigans they got up to behind the scenes when they were filming that, because I will tell you that we have heard much about how uncomfortable those harnesses are. So having to be up there for that long.
How long were they up there?
I mean, it had to be quite a while to shoot that. So, I mean, we could ask at some point, but yeah, I just love that they had fun up there, because there's some behind the scenes video that I think somebody put up. I don't know if it was Christina or what. Anyway, very cool scene. Loved it. And Mysterious Miguel, the end.
All right, and then we close out the episode with the grossest scene ever. So it's Adriel and Lilith, and basically he's still going on and feeding into her ego, and robs her of her eyesight, but then gives her the ability to quote unquote see the truth in this world, which is demons. And that's where my notes end.
I protest that whole thing. No, thank you.
My notes ended a while ago.
Fair enough.
Is that the rest of that scene? I don't remember.
I don't remember the scene.
That's all
I
I
don't
just
either.
Watched it.
I just watched it and I don't remember that either.
I thought it ended with Michael.
Me
No.
too.
Oh no! It ends with it. They're like 2 in a row end with Adriel and Lilith. It's like they're back at the manor, and he's like going on, and she's like,
"That's bullshit. I don't want it to end with them."
Yeah, I
I know.
blocked that out.
Yeah, so that's basically it. He gives her the ability to see demons. That's kind of it. And he's like, "You're so powerful. You're the one doing all this." And it's like clearly him. It's ridiculous. It's this. This just completes the grooming. Is all it says.
Yeah. So what do we
How many shots for by Jesus?
It ends on Michael.
No, whatever.
And then it goes, "In my darkest hour."
I love that song. It's on my one of my playlists, by the way.
I didn't know it before the show, but I really like it now.
I didn't know it before the show either. Like whoever.
It was just perfect.
It is perfect for this whole episode because it shows up multiple times. That was one of my favorite things about this episode is that song, and all the times Beatrice and Ava were together or looking for one another. Miguel can go be mysterious elsewhere. The priest should have died. I give it 5 shots.
5 lemon drops. What about you, Kaitlynn?
Well, I was going to be generous and give it a 5.
I was also going to give it a 5 because the fight scene was badass.
Oh my god, the fight scene.
I gave it a 5 for Yasmin.
Yeah, Yasmin was also great.
Yeah, amazing. That fight scene was a substantial part of
yeah, because that was the one where she blows Michael out of the water, right?
That got 2 shots by itself because that was just hilarious. And then the fight scene, and then Beatrice being just like on a mission to save Ava.
Loved it. Didn't even let the crazy hallucination stop her. No.
And then that hallucination for just like keeping me up for weeks trying to figure out what the fuck was happening.
I got a lot detracted. Okay, I would have given it higher in the shot in the lemon drops if it wasn't for the fact that the not hot priest did not die.
I know that loses 5 shots because that bitch should have died. I just hate him so much.
That's where they lost the shots. Everything else was fine.
Oh no, and then the Adriel Lilith stuff. That also lost points.
I keep blanking on that.
I know. It's just terrible, and I hate it.
I hate it there. Whatever.
But yeah, so what would you guys rate this episode for our Ava, our bisexual Jesus? How many shots would you take for her for this episode?
Yes, tell us.
Out of 9.
Right.
Yes.
Well, that's all we got. Next time we'll be getting into episode 5. We made it to the halfway point.
We're gonna get there.
We're gonna get there.
You will too. So
when we get to 8,
keep tweeting. Avatrice bed script scene. We can do it.
Yes. Avatrice bed script scene. Tweet it.
Woo! Woo! Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
And with that, we've been Big Gay Energy. If you like this episode, check out all our other episodes right here on YouTube. Please like, leave a comment below, and subscribe for more amazing, super gay content.
If you'd like to support us, check out our merch store, or join our Patreon for early access to episodes, exclusive content, and so much more.
Until next time, stay safe and hydrate for lesbian Jesus.